Okay, what it is, Father Moo back on the microphone in the big church on a Sunday. Welcome to church. Well, it's been quite a week here for Father Moo, back on Twitch, streaming 4 days out of the week. And that's a lot of fun, but it's also it's a lot of prep and it's a lot of thinking about what you're going to do next. But I managed to come up with some interesting stuff, and a couple people were on there listening and chatting. It was really great. So I'm not giving up on the Twitch, even though it's starting slowly. I'm just going to keep on bombarding Twitch with my incredibly noisy sounds. The Twitch stream doesn't sound anything like these Modular streams. It's a lot of noise, it's a lot of drone, there's a lot of break core from my little Pico core, and I'm trying to get it so I can have two devices in sync playing patterns together. I did that on the last day of it with the Pluto and the 606, but 606 is not what I would call a generative device, so I'm looking to make it more self-composing like we do. Well, we do it here on this Nord Micro Modular stream. So it's a very different kind of sound, but I never really wanted to limit myself to a quote-unquote genre. Genre is really just a tempo with a price tag on it. Yeah, you can use that quote if you want. But yeah, let's do something today, which I've been holding off from doing for a while, and which I want to finally just dig in and try it. So for me, about 6 months ago, I found this artist on YouTube that I immediately loved, but like I couldn't tell anybody about it. I'm like, whenever I find something I like in music, I want to like learn all their secrets rather than tell anybody that they exist, and then maybe I can be a master of whatever new genre they've come up with, which is never really how it works out, but that's just how my brain initially responds. So I will lead you in the direction of that artist now. That artist's name is Tottomori, which is Tottomori, or maybe Tottomori. It's not even a real Japanese word, and he's not a Japanese person. He's, I think, some kind of Norwegian or Northern European or of some kind. But whoever Tottomori is, his music is very cool, and I like it. And today is my attempt to do a Tottomori tribute. I've actually sat down and done this twice and given up because I couldn't get close enough to his music that I would really want to say it's a tribute to that guy. But I think it's good to show some of my failures on here as patches as well as my successes. We don't do that with social media enough. We only pick the best moments. So if I fail at doing that again today, I'm still going to post it. But then, of course, if I don't, you'll never hear this, will you? How ironic. Well, anyway, if you're listening to it, I posted it. So, heck, I probably have to post this because it's been so long since I did a upload anyway. So I'm just preaching to the choir here. So what is Tottomori? Well, he's not exactly ambient music. There's elements of that. He's not exactly chiptunes either. So, but I would say the stuff that I heard anyway, he may have gone in some new directions. But the stuff I've heard on YouTube contains elements of ambient music and chiptune music. A lot of it is very simple and pretty, like Eric Satie type of music. And he, of course, was an ambient pioneer. So, anyway, I'm not even sure what instruments he uses, but he does seem to use a lot of arpeggios and sequencers to make these little synth melodies. So I think that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on today. I put in the 8-input mixer. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to 8 voices, maybe 4 or 5. But since I'm just about to start here, my goal is to first to make a slow-moving monophonic bass sequence, probably just a few notes that it alternates between, and then running on their own clocks, separate clocks probably, will be other little arpeggio-like sequences. We don't have a literal arpeggiator in the Nord Micromodular, but I can program something like an arpeggiation, so little up and down runs on a couple of other monophonic voices while still going for kind of a Game Boy lo-fi aesthetic, but not a very harsh one, more of a pretty or a facile sort of twee kind of sound. So let's get started. I was thinking about let's use a sine wave for our bass today. So I'm starting with the bass, by the way. At least for the bass, I know which limited notes I wanted to play. And as you've heard me say many times here, I'm such a fan of the wave wrapper after the sine wave of oscillator C that I'm going to put him in the mix. Now, will he be smooth and sweet enough to fit with our aesthetic? I'm not super sure on that, but I'll put him in the circuit anyway and delete it if I don't need it. So here we just have sine wave, wave wrapper, and simple envelope. We can probably take this guy down to E2. So 2 octaves down. And let's come up with his notes. So let's take note sequencer B. And I think we can use this gate out to be our gate. The key will be the kind of clock that we send the bass and how exactly we program that. So I know which notes I want for him here. He's defaulting to E. So let's go down. There's D and there's C. That will be our first note. Let's make them, I think I'll just leave it one note, one step for now. And another one will be A. So let's put that as, there's C, and then 1, 2, 3 down is A. And another one is F. So if it's already at E, then one up should be F. So we'll even, for now, let's just only use those 3 steps. It doesn't seem like a very long sequence to have 3 steps, but there it is. So next we need to clock it. So let's do that now. Here's a clock gen. I think I'm going to move this voice down here a bit. You know what? I don't know why I put it in that column. Let's keep our sequencing over here on the left. I'm not following my own rules at all here. What am I doing? Let's just do a little reorg. There's an oscillator. Wave wrapper counts as a filter. The envelope is the envelope there. That's good. And we'll put the sequencer over in the sequencing column on the left. There we go. That's more traditional. And plug it into the mixer. So I'm not sure if we're going to, I'll take that back. I think we are going to use more than one clock gen. And I'm going to go all the way down to our literal slowest tempo, 24 BPM. But even that's not slow enough for me, so I'm going to get a clock divider and stick him in there as well. Let's try 2 for now. So let's hook it up, and we should just have a very slow alternation between these 3 notes here. Yep. This one goes into here. And the gate is coming out of there. Oh, this needs to go into the pitch input. Let me just turn my volume up. Okay, we're getting it. It's a little bit on the quiet side. Okay. see what we can do here. Not bad. So, the other thing I was going to do was I want to make this more intermittent. So, yes, is this the one we use? There we go. So you see me use this switch before. So here's another version of the clock divider. This one is dividing by 4, so it's even slower. So let's send one of these to input 2, and the other one to, instead of sending straight here, we're going to send it to input 1. And we'll set the crossfade to maximum. Set this all the way to the left. And we'll get our old friend, the square wave LFO. Oh, man. So embarrassing not being able to remember which LFO is which. It's a sad world. Yeah, so this guy is, the square wave LFO is my automatic switcher machine. So he chooses one or the other. So he'll go in here to decide which clock to use, the slow clock or the even bloody slower clock. And then after the decision is made, one of those clocks will be sent to the sequencer. Cool. Well, they need to be even longer, so let's go 8 and 4. And while we're at it, we've got the nice sine wave sound. Why don't we try maybe a random generator and send that to the wave wrapper and turn up his amount. There it is. I guess what I'm actually kind of hearing is, let's try this. So I'm going to double up my envelope. I have the settings for the original. I'm going to turn the attack up a bit. And the decay down a bit. I'm going to have them be triggered at the same time, but I'm not sending any audio into this envelope. Instead, I'm sending this envelope into the wave wrapper. So it should get an evolving wave wrap sound, yeah, like that, every time it triggers. Might be a little too much. Yeah, it's not really the sound I was going for. Gonna have to do something else with it. Sorry, sound. Might put a phaser in there later, but anyway, for now, let's leave this little bass line doing his weird little thing and see if I can come up with another couple of tones to accompany him, because it's kind of uninteresting right now. We can try, so again, I'm going to go for sort of Game Boy type sounds. I'm inclined to use the square wave, but I'm not sure if pulse width will really help me to achieve the Game Boy type sound I want. Maybe we'll experiment with it. We have a LFO out there waiting anyway. So here's another simple envelope for this guy. And we used the classic LP filter. That's pretty normal. You see me do a couple of synth sounds where I layered a couple of oscillators, different octaves, but most early Game Boy type machines didn't really have the processing power to do that, so a single voice should probably be enough. And next we'll have to sequence him somehow. Let's use this guy. So we used this one for the bass line. Here I'm going to take, as I said, a sort of arpeggiator type pattern and see if I can make something suitable. There's a C, F, G, and I'm going to go up. There's G, A. Let's go all the way up to plus 12. It should be a high E. And 12, 10, 8 should be a high C. And then we've got this E that we're already on here. So we'll go back down to there. And another one, 5 down, and then it should be, there's G. Take this one to C. So there we go. So there's a 9-step sequence. So let's just have it repeat there. Again, I'm just putting this one in for now. Sort of a placeholder-y sequence. Might need to adjust it later. So we'll crank this up to full. We've got it set to square. And I think you can also use this gate out here. Before I wasn't much of a fan of using the gate on the sequencer, but as long as it's getting a weird clock, you'll get an unusual pattern. It's just if it's getting a standard 4 on the 4 clock, that this 16-step gate pattern would be boring. So let's just copy what we did here. This is our switching mechanism. And I was going to make another clock altogether, but what if we just use the clock that we have, and instead of using 2 dividers, I'm just going to use 1. Where is that? Clock divider again. So I think this one will be on 2, yep. So I'm going to send the actual master clock here. We divided him by 4 and 8, and then flip between them. Now we're going to divide them by nothing and by 2, and flip between those. I guess I can just go straight here. And I've got another little square guy. I'm going to set him again to a different speed, but he's still being the flipper. And so this clock should go to this sequencer, and we should get some sound. Good. Some of my notes must be off, but good. Let's make it a 10-stepper and give him a different last note here, because those A's are repeating. It's actually pretty cool. The way it switches from one to the other is actually working for me. I still have a few more things to fix though, so let's keep going here. kind of hearing a nice slow filter pattern to go along with the notes. So I'm going to take the same switchable clock and make a clock random step generator of it and feed it to the filter. I wonder if this will work. Let's feed it to pulse width. Okay. I think I'm dissatisfied with the sine wave as a baseline. So I'm going to try a different OSC altogether. This is maybe not totally, well, it's not really anything to do with Tottomori, but I used a formant oscillator. A formant is supposed to make a vocal type sound, so I'm going to use a normal filter on it and not the vocal filter, but I don't know if it'll be suitable. I just know that the sine wave wasn't getting me there. So there's the same sequence out. Oh, I need to turn this up all the way. And he was 2 octaves down. He's got this timbre knob. I think I'm going to steal my own trick. See what I did with the LFO here. I'm going to copy that one. And I'm going to feed this LFO with the same switchable clock that the bassline is using. So basically every time he plays a new note, his timbre will shift, but it won't shift faster than his clock. That's good. You can go down another octave. He's almost a bit thin. This is crazy, but what if I put the sine back in and I drop the sine 3 octaves to friggin' E1? That is so low. You low down dirty dog. I guess I need a mixer now. And this oscillator should really be up here. He's part of the second voice. You can go in there. Whoa. Wow, that's low. It's pretty much too low. Oh no, this is the... Okay. So now that melody sequence is at E4, and the 2 bass lines are at E3 and E2. E1 was just too low. Oh, I realize I need to do this too. That's nice. There it is. Let's try this to here. Really using the same trick on both. Some of those are a little too bright. Let's try using the random that we never used for anything. It's pretty good. So these blocks down here are now the sequence controllers for the two voices. I wanted to separate them out a bit conceptually. So let's try one more voice. I realize I could change this oscillator C to be a slave sign, which will save me a couple of % of processing power. But whatever, I'm not trying to max things out. It's not a competition, man. So, yeah. I realize I'm gonna need this space here for the third voice. So yeah, I want to make one more sequenced little thing, sort of like the two voices we have here, and I want to not screw it up. Let's try Spectral Osc just again. Formant was such a gamble, but it seemed to work. Here's another gamble. Most filters don't have a CV input for resonance. This one does, and I like to take advantage of it. So I just picked an LFO, this one here, and sent it in here. It seems to work. Let's clear a couple wires away so we can see what's going on. That should help. There we go. Okay, so here's little Mr. Last Voice here. He's going to need a filter too. Just because experimenting has worked today, I'm going to use the vocal filter, which I did not use on the Formant. I'm going to use him on the Spectral Osc instead. But he'll probably need another low-pass filter after him. So I'm going to use this real cheap static LF low-pass filter. So I can just roll off some of the high end if I need to. Let's open it up for now, though. And send Spectral to here. And you'll need an envelope. Cool. So now we need to sequence him. What we have here is the baseline alternating at half its speed, and the other sequencer is still at multiples of the original. So what I really want now for the third voice is a sequencer that stops and starts. So I'm probably going to build something like the switch here, except that one of the inputs is just no clock at all, which will be when it stops. And as for the other clock, I'm probably going to try and build something weird, maybe by combining some of the existing clock patterns with logic gates. It's not that I need to avoid using a third clock, it's just that I can. So let's start from the same starting point we did before, which was carefully putting the right notes, quote unquote, into the note sequencer. So again, we've got E, F, G, and then C. Let's go E, F, G, A. This one is still G. Wait, where's this one? I think that's right. C again. Go up to 12 is E. It's 10. Should be there. Wait, that's too many. Yep. E, F, G, A, F, G. Okay, good. So now we've got a I'm going to use 15 steps of this 16-step sequencer, just because weird numbers helped me out before. And I'm going to copy this one. So there's my switcher and my switch. So I plug him into here. I give him another time, it's all his own. And I don't even need anything for one of those inputs. Let's build a few logic gates. Logic. Processor. Let's try taking this one. That's the slowest, most divided clock. And that's the second most slowest clock. And here's another clock divided by 2. This one is going to be set to OR. Yeah, that's probably right. Well, let's set them all, both to OR. Send this to here. And we'll see if this makes an interesting clock. Oh, we need to connect the gate out. And the pitch to here. Let's just mute the other boys so we know what we're listening to. Not getting very many notes. I thought I would be getting more if they were all set to OR. That means like any of them coming through should be fine. Okay, instead of this slow clock, why don't we set the master clock here? Weird. Is this one hooked up? Yep. Yep. Why don't we set this one to reset? That should be interesting as well. Still not really getting enough notes. I was hoping for faster runs here. Let's try another logic gate. Logic processor. I call it logic gate. Set it to OR. So one input is everything else. And this input is just a completely random pulse generator. Just a shooting pulses at it whenever he wants. And then we'll connect that to the actual sequencer input. I don't get it. This guy's flashing a lot, but I'm not seeing a lot of things appear in his Okay, let's take the resetter, and I'm going to set him to a real slow, or a slower pulse generator. Heck, if this clock isn't working, why don't we just make it a completely, just send him nothing but the pulse generator. Then we'll see who's boss. Me, that's who. Father Moo. Here we go. Good, it's getting sometimes reset by this guy, so I'll slow him down. Okay, that's more of the random craziness I was going for. Sweet. So let's tweak the sound, since the sound isn't as good as the clocks yet. I can admit that. Oh, it would be even more interesting to take what was now our crazy clock and hook him up to a clocked random step generator so he can make CV on his own time. We'll send that to the spectral shape here. Give him a nice weirdness. Oh, well, this guy's already in square wave mode, so I don't think here partials odd is similar to a square. So I'm going to leave it on all. Now here's the vocal filter. This guy is a bit more of a weirdo. It's hard to get him sounding good. It's easy to make him sound like crap, though. I never know which letters to set it to, but I'm going to try those for now. I'm going to feed him some semi-random CV here. It's pretty good. Let's send some random CV here too. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that must be this frequency guy. That's nice. Okay, let's get the boys back in town here, like in that Thin Lizzy song. Oh, we forgot one thing. We forgot that Clocky Boy only gets to run some of the time. He's supposed to go in here, and then go from there into there, so that he isn't always on. That's good. Just to... Oh, that's neat. Just to get that little weirdo a little bit more of a Game Boy sound, let's plop a digitizer at the end of his circuit. It's okay, he's just off right now. It's a bit too drastic. Okay, I chose the wrong LFO source for that. Let's find another one. Let's try this one. This is good. I'm wondering, I'm at 80%. I'm wondering what I can add, or if I should add anything. This is one of those ones where, since, as I said, I was so confident I was going to screw this up, and I haven't actually done that yet, at least by my own standards. But I think I want to try a little bit of percussion here. So let's go to drum sound synthesizer. And let's also give me a percussion osc, which I can tune to the notes of the song. We're in C major pentatonic, by the way. And now we're at 97.5 on your AM dial. Oh, well, we aren't using these, so we can save a little power by getting rid of those. How about clocked pattern generators? Oops, I went over. Okay, it's time to replace this oscillator with a slave, which is cheaper, hopefully cheaper. There we go, cheap enough. So all we gotta do is hook this up. An octave down. Connect the master to slave. And plug him into this one. There he is. And we saved that 2%. Okay, so I did need it. So the only thing left to do is to figure out which kind of clocks to send to our two little drum sounds here. I'm gonna try 4 times divided clock to send to the percussion osc. Let's plug him into the mixer so we can hear him. Might be too slow overall. Let's try master clock. Okay, well, I'm hearing him now. That's him there. Let's even send him up an octave. That little bell sound. That's nice. Let's just use that same clock for the other one. Let's see if we can get another pattern going on this drum here. Thinking maybe a cymbal would be nice. And we'll just introduce a random element to the pattern so we get variation over time. That's good. The cymbal can be a little quieter. Maybe even I wonder if we have enough processing power to do Frank's old trick here. control signal mixer. Yeah, we do. It only takes 16%. And a constant. Set it to 25. And take this, what I was sending to the velocity, send to here. There we go. Now the hi-hat has a bit of velocity to it as well. Let's just listen to that for a bit. Good. I don't think we need this random resetting of the sequencer. I don't think it's really helping. I wish there was a direction control or something, but we don't have that. And I'm feeling like this C note bell is getting triggered too much, so I want to at least let me take this out of here. I'm going to change his clock to the 2 times divided clock. Yeah, I think we got it, and I think I'm gonna name it. Well, I was gonna name it. Now you can go back and you can listen to the real Tottomori and say, does it sound anything similar to what Father Mu came up with? Maybe not, but maybe you gotta, you know, want to hear it in your mind. Yeah. So I'm gonna call it Tottomori Tribute. I know it's not gonna fit, but that's the right vibe for this patch, man. So yeah, I mean, don't let your dreams be dreams. You gotta try and do what you gotta do. And I promised I would upload this if I screwed up. I don't think I screwed up today, but I also think if Tottomori listened to this, he'd be like, yeah, it's not me, man. But it's inspired by it. Let's go with that. Yeah. It's this third sequencer. Although I felt that it works with this music that I've made, he doesn't have anything quite as like jumpy or out of sync as this. But he has some parts where he plays it by hand, and I can't really do that on the Nord Micro Modular, so random clocking is about as close as I can get. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, check out Tottomori on YouTube, and check me out the next time I upload, which I hope will be a bit sooner. Let's aim for maybe 3 sessions on the Nord Micromodular a week. I think that'll be good. And of course, pop over to Twitch if you want. It's my username is father_MOO. So check me out there too. It's been real, people. I'll see you in the next stream. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Father Moo signing out. But first, let's just take a little listen.